The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Maya walked through the crystalline doors, her footsteps echoing against the vaulted ceiling that stretched 300 meters above. The representatives of 47 species watched her approach, their varied forms shifting nervously in their designated spaces. They had seen humans angry before, but never like this. Maya's face was carved from stone, her dark eyes holding an emptiness that made even the battle-hardened K-Artath warriors lean back in their seats. Behind her walked Commander William Chen, his military uniform pressed to perfection, a datapad clutched in his scarred hands. The silence stretched, heavy and suffocating, until Maya reached the central podium. 3 days ago, she began, her voice soft but carrying to every corner of the massive hall, the Zayantari Collective attacked human colony designation Echo 7. They did not target military installations. They did not engage our defense fleets. They targeted the children's education centers during morning session. A holographic display materialized above the assembly, showing scenes that made several delegates turn away. William stood motionless, his jaw clenched so tight that muscles twitched beneath his skin. He had been the first responder, arriving with his rapid deployment team 6 hours after the attack. 6 hours too late. 2,347 children, Maya continued, each word precise and controlled. Ages 4 to 16, vaporized, incinerated, or crushed beneath collapsed structures. The Zayantari broadcast their actions across subspace channels, claiming this as retribution for humanity's economic interference in their territorial expansion. The Zayantari ambassador, a towering insectoid creature with iridescent carapace, clicked its mandibles. The humans have blocked our rightful expansion for decades. They harbor our enemies. You killed children, William said, speaking for the first time. His voice was quiet, almost gentle, which somehow made it more terrifying. You didn't attack soldiers. You didn't strike military targets. You murdered children because you were frustrated with trade negotiations. The Council Arbiter, an ancient being of pure energy contained within a containment field, pulsed with concern. Ambassador Maya, Commander Chen, we understand your anger. The Council condemns this action and calls for immediate sanctions against. Sanctions, Maya repeated and laughed. It was a broken sound devoid of humor. You think we came here to discuss sanctions? She pressed a control on her wrist device. New images appeared in the holographic display, surveillance footage from the attack. Children running, screaming. Teachers trying to shield their students with their own bodies. A little girl, no more than 6 years old, calling for her mother as the ceiling collapsed. William closed his eyes. He had pulled that child from the rubble. She had died in his arms, her last words asking if her mom would be proud that she had been brave. The Zayantari Collective has 3 billion citizens across 12 worlds, Maya said, her voice still eerily calm. They possess one of the largest military fleets in this sector. Their technology is sophisticated, their warriors trained from birth. On paper, they could fight the entire human race to a standstill. The Zayantari ambassador rose to its full height, mandibles clicking in what their species considered a victory gesture. Yes, we are not afraid of human retribution. You are one species among many. You cannot. Couldn't, William corrected softly, past tense. Confusion rippled through the assembly. The arbiter pulsed brighter. Explain. Maya pulled up a star chart. 12 systems glowed in Zayantari territorial space. As I was speaking to you, human fleets completed a simultaneous strike on every Zayantari world. Not their military installations, not their government centers, their ability to sustain life. The chamber erupted. Delegates shouted, clicked, chirped, and bellowed in dozens of languages. The arbiter's containment field blazed white-hot. This is genocide. This violates every galactic convention. You cannot. We targeted their atmospheric processors, William said, his voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. Their water purification systems, their agricultural centers, their medical supply chains. In approximately 48 hours, the Zayantari will begin to suffocate, dehydrate, and starve. You've doomed 3 billion beings, the Arbiter thundered. They doomed themselves when they touched our children, Maya replied. We gave every Zayantari citizen advance warning. Human ships are currently in orbit around all 12 worlds. Any Zayantari who wishes to evacuate has 6 hours to board our transports. We will take them to neutral worlds, provide them with resources to start again, and never pursue them. The Zayantari ambassador's carapace had lost its iridescence, dulling to an ashen gray. This is, you cannot, the Council will. The Council will do nothing, William said flatly. Because if you do, humanity will withdraw from galactic society entirely, and the next species that harms a human child won't get evacuation ships. They won't get warnings. They'll simply wake up one morning to discover their sons have been extinguished. You're bluffing, the K-Artath representative snarled, though its 6 eyes betrayed uncertainty. No species has that capability. Maya smiled, and it was the most terrible expression William had ever seen on a human face. We're the species that split the atom to end a war. We're the species that went from first flight to walking on our moon in 66 years. We're the species that, when faced with extinction-level threats, doesn't surrender. We evolve. You want to know what makes humanity special in this galaxy? She leaned forward, her hands gripping the podium. We love our children more than we fear death, more than we fear you, more than we fear the consequences of our actions. You can have your wars over territory, your disputes over resources, your political games. But the moment you touch a human child, you cease to be a problem to be managed. You become a threat to be eliminated. The Arbiter dimmed, its energy form flickering with what might have been fear. This sets a dangerous precedent. What stops humanity from using this threat against anyone who opposes you? Our nature, William answered, accessing his datapad. In the 300 years since first contact, humanity has participated in 47 armed conflicts. How many did we start? Silence. None, he continued. We have defended allies, protected trade routes, and responded to aggression. But we have never, not once, fired the first shot. We don't want to be conquerors. We don't want to be feared. We just want to exist in peace. Then why this? The Arbiter asked. Why such overwhelming force? Maya's composure finally cracked. Tears streamed down her face as she pulled up one final image, a classroom photo from Echo 7, taken the day before the attack. Smiling children of a dozen different human ethnicities, holding artwork and science projects, their whole lives ahead of them. Because they were children, she whispered. They weren't soldiers. They weren't politicians. They were children learning to read, to paint, to dream about the stars. And someone decided their lives were acceptable collateral damage in a political dispute. She wiped her eyes, her voice strengthening. So yes, we are exterminating the Zayantari collective as a political entity. Their species will survive. Every civilian who evacuates will be helped to rebuild. But their government, their military, their culture of casual violence against the defenseless, that dies today. William pulled up evacuation statistics on the holographic display. Current evacuation rate, 67% and climbing. Most Zayantari civilians are taking our offer. They're abandoning their worlds, their homes, everything. Because deep down, they understand what their leaders did was unforgivable. And when the evacuations are complete, the Arbiter asked quietly, the 12 Zayantari worlds will be rendered permanently uninhabitable, Maya said. Quarantine buoys will mark them as graveyards, monuments to what happens when you harm human children. In 10,000 years, when civilizations we cannot imagine explore these dead worlds, they will find our warning beacons, and they will learn. The Zayantari ambassador collapsed, its legs giving out beneath it. My people, our history, our culture. Should have thought of that before you vaporized 2,347 children, William said coldly. You wanted to send a message about human weakness. Congratulations. You've sent a message all right, but not the one you intended. Maya straightened, addressing the entire council. Humanity is not leaving the galactic community. We will honor our treaties, maintain our alliances, and continue to be productive members of this society. But let this be understood by every species in this chamber and beyond. Our children are the line you do not cross. Not by accident, not by collateral damage, and certainly not by deliberate targeting. And if someone does, the KRTAth representative asked, genuine curiosity in its voice. Maya's expression returned to that terrible calm. Then you had better hope your species has colony ships ready, because your homeworlds will join the Zyant 12 in the graveyard of civilizations too foolish to understand the depths of human protective instinct. She turned to leave, William falling into step beside her. At the doorway, she paused and looked back at the assembly. We didn't want this, she said softly. We wanted peace. We wanted cooperation. We wanted our children to grow up in a galaxy of wonders, learning from dozens of species, contributing to a shared future. The Zyant took that dream and burned it, so we burned them in return. May every species here remember this day, and may it never need to be repeated. As they exited, the council chamber remained silent. The Zyant ambassador wept, its people's civilization counting down its final hours. The other delegates sat frozen, processing the implications of what they had witnessed. Humanity had revealed its darkest capability not through threats or posturing, but through immediate, overwhelming action. They had demonstrated that the species capable of the greatest compassion was also capable of the most complete destruction. And across the galaxy, in every council embassy, every military command center, every alien government building, the same message began to circulate. The humans have one absolute rule: never, under any circumstances, harm their children. The Zyant learned this lesson too late. Their evacuated people would carry it forward as a warning to all who would listen. Some lines once crossed cannot be uncrossed. Some actions cannot be forgiven. And some species, when you harm what they love most, will sacrifice everything, even their own souls, to ensure you never harm anyone again.